goes back to the north, to Ulster, to the Ulster champions from Down, who win a magnificent final in the end by just 2 points. What a terrific second half it turned out to be. Down the masters, Down enjoying it, and there's Paul Higgins, who played his part. Expected he would be marking Colm O'Rourke earlier in the game, and indeed he got that wish partway through the second half. But overall it was a great team performance, Jack.
Yeah, a great team performance. I think on the day Meath will have no complaints. I think if had Colm O'Rourke been in from the start, we would have seen a much different Meath performance. But today I think was Down's day. As I said earlier, they were the most tenacious team. They were putting in the tackle, they were harassing and putting the Meath players under pressure, and never gave Meath the chance to come forward and set up the scores which they wanted. But Meath in the second half showed us great, and showed us the great team that they are, that they never lied down. They were 10 or 11 points down early on in the second half, and they fought back and looked like they could even pull off a dramatic draw or even a dramatic win at the very end. But a very enjoyable game, Joe. At times I suppose there was a few high tackles that didn't get punished maybe, but otherwise it was a very, very good game, very sporting game, a great occasion and a very, very colourful occasion.
In the end it was 116 for Down, 114 for Meath. The final score at the end of a dramatic All-Ireland final.
Fishy, August, a Gael Golair, her can come on low class Gael, Coram Falsharov, Hickley Canish no Hearn, on Oak College is Tawakti, a Kersey Sport in Ireland. Go on Buenos, Lagoctina, a big Parchuk in Nimothy on Lanu. Na California, Offigi, na Kundiha, August Raktori, August Gohariha, Livsha, or Dokahori. After the most momentous championship in the history of our association, Down have come through with no fuss and are today kings of Gaelic football. They deserve their success, but let us recognise that Meath have set records which may never be equal, and that together with Dublin they raise the profile of our game to an unprecedented level. I thank them for their contribution to our games in 1991, and I sympathise with them on falling at the last hurdle in a competition which their efforts suggested they were almost entitled to win. On behalf of all, I thank Meath, but today belongs to Down. In a tense, exciting game, they came through. I congratulate them on their victory. A cordial to Agnew Ogam, our captain, the Fournia Shop, the father-in-law. Anish is Kirsch Ahas, August Kirsch and Oradom. Current Sam Maguire of Runnegar, our captain on Down, Paddy O'Rourke.
It's a wonderful moment for Paddy O'Rourke for Down, accepting the Sam Maguire Cup. Down have won the championship. A moment that Down fans, I think, will remember for a long, long time. What a year it turned out for them.
Aertron na Hearn, Aishi, Aertron come Lucas Gale, a Muncher, and Abu. This is the proudest moment of my life. It really is a dream come true. There's a lot of people that I have to thank here today on behalf of the players, but there's one man who stands out head and shoulders above them all. 2 years ago, our county board spent the whole summer looking for someone to manage the county team. There's only one man stood up and said, I'll do it, and that man was the great Pete McGrath. On behalf of all the players in the panel, I would like to thank you, Pete, you and your selectors and your backup team for giving us today our All-Ireland medal. Thank you. I would also like to thank our county board who done such great work this year. But again, there's one man in my mind who stands out above all on that board. He came in a year ago and he's got everybody in this county behind the team. That man is our chairman, Danny Murphy. There's another very special man in our setup that I couldn't let this occasion pass without thanking. He's been involved with county teams through all the good and bad years, right back from the early 60s. He has looked after us all like a father. Dr. Martin Walsh, on behalf of the players, we thank you. I would like to thank all our supporters here today, those at home watching in on the telly who couldn't get tickets. Thank you very much. Thanks to our official supporters club for the great work they have done for us coming into this final. Thank you very much. At a time like this, there's a lot of people that I should thank for helping me get my career to this level. But if I started to thank them all here today, would be here all evening. But there's one man who really comes back into my heart at a time like this. He was a club man of mine. He done great work for us as schoolboys, took us all over down to underage matches. He gave me an awful interest in Gaelic football. He was way before the biggest influence of my career. I'm sorry to say that he is no longer with us. That man was Sean Murdoch. I would also like to thank the Meath team for the great game that they gave us today. It really was a great game. Liam Hayes said in the paper last Sunday, if teams could be friends, down in Meath would be friends. Well, I say back to you, Liam, we'll be friends for the next few days. I hope you shall be friends with us. 3 cheers for me. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. I would just like to finish off now on a lighter note. I'd like to say hello to my 3 greatest fans who's at home watching in on the telly. They're my 3 kids. Hello, Orla, Ciara and Pearl. Thank you.
So Paddy O'Rourke takes the cup. A fine acceptance speech thanking all and sundry, and the fans now stream in from Hill 16 to be part of this celebration scene as well. It's been a magnificent day for Down, for Ulster football. Sad for Meath, such a long journey ends in failure, but triumph for Down.
Yes, there will be some celebrations across the border, you can be sure, both tonight and tomorrow when Sam goes north for the first time since '68. But as Jared said, in as far as we congratulate Down, you also have to say with commiserations to Meath. Just as Dublin found it hard to believe that after 4 championship matches they were left with nothing, Meath now too find after 10 championship matches they didn't get that All-Ireland nail. That's football, that's the way it goes. We'll talk more about this All-Ireland final after the commercial break. Stay with us. Let's not forget that they keep that unbeaten record in All-Ireland finals intact. 60, 61, 68 and now in 1991. Well, it's a victory that was appreciated not only in counties all across the north, I suppose all over the country really, and also by our 2 finalists here, Jimmy Barry Murphy and also by Brian McInniff. Jimmy Barry, your final thoughts on the match?
Well, I must say I thought it was a fantastic performance by Down. They took the game by the scruff of the neck in the first half, got the scores, got the lead they needed, and in the second half they produced some fantastic passing movements, and they got the cushion I think that they needed, because in fairness to Meath, you can't put them away. They came back, so it would have been an unbelievable comeback. I think they were 11 points down at one stage, and you know they could have stolen it in the end. It was very, very close in the end, and only for a very good save by Neil Collins earlier than they got the goal. It could have been a whole different ball game. But in fairness, I mean, Meath have a great heart. They've never give up and they've fought to the end. You have to give them full credit for that. It's a long road. They didn't win it, but I think they deserve great credit for the way they played today.
Well, Jimmy, Paddy O'Rourke is probably thinking it's a long road down there in the middle of that crowd as well. I'm sure he's hanging on tenaciously to Sam, because Sam could part company with him very, very quickly in the middle of that, and it mightn't be found for a week or two. Brian, For me, the critical score in the match was Green's goal in the second half. At that stage, Down were ahead, but it was the one that really killed me, despite all their fight in the end. Let's take a look at it again, and let's have your own thoughts on it. And perhaps even about the legality of it as well, Brian.
Whitnell wins the ball here. James feeds, I think it's Mickey Linden, Greg Blaney, who feeds Mickey Linden on the run. And no, I really couldn't say when I look at the second time that there's anything too illegal in it. It was a situation where I spoke at a half-time where if Down went at the Meath defence, really, that's really where they were going to score. And that was the first time that actually ran at them and they got the major score.
Well, coming up shortly, Brian, there'll be a replay of that, so we get another chance to have a look at it. But needless to say, that sent Croke Park into an eruption of red and black colour here. Let's take a look at it again from a different angle. What do you think about it, Jimmy?
Well, James McCartney, again, I thought for me he was outstanding today.
Yeah.
He took the ball on, took on the Meath defenders, took punishment, laid off the ball very well. Then Mickey Linden spots Barry Breen just loose on the other side of the square. He doesn't panic, holds the head, and no, he's standing quiet on the line. It was perfectly legitimate goal, I think, in fairness. And he didn't try to catch it. He almost basketball style knocked into the net. He did exactly the right thing. And as you said, that was the cushion that Down needed.
Greg Blaney also playing an important role in that, and a nice passing movement by the Down forward, setting that one up.
That's right. Very, very good movement, and that was the key to their performance today. They got some sheer pace, really knocking.
We'll have that, Brian. Sorry to interrupt you.
I'm as agog with excitement, and why not? All of what is it, 23 years since the All-Ireland title went north. And what Dublin, Wicklow, Roscommon, Offaly and Laois have failed to do, Down have succeeded. And these gentlemen are certainly delighted, and rightly so. Peter Whitnell, you're probably the only forward that didn't score this afternoon, but I'm sure you're not too pushed about it.
No, not really. I think my job was to lay a lot of balls off, sort of concede a lot of possession. I thought I'd done that very well. I had chances to score. They just didn't fall for me. Panicked that wee bit too soon, getting bad control of the ball. But I'm happy enough with my performance, and I'm happy for the team and everybody with it.
Certainly you were very relaxed before the match.
Yeah, I was. I had no nerves. I think the crowd sort of built the nerves up in me. You're not used to playing with a crowd like that there every day,
But you did great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. Paul Higgins is next. Paul, certainly a great match and a marvellous achievement to stop Meath's gallop.
It was. When we got too far ahead, I thought, the Meath I knew they were going to come back, but when they did, I didn't think they would have come back as strong, and they kept coming back. And when the final whistle went, it just, a dream come true.
It certainly was a marvellous performance by Down, an overall team performance, but your forwards in particular look very sharp.
Yeah, well, all year they've been playing very well, and they're not depending on one man to score anymore, and just the spirit in the team's unbelievable. We knew we couldn't get beaten, that's the way it was,
I'm sure you're not disappointed that you didn't score a point in the All-Ireland final like in the Ulster final.
I didn't care, as long as the forwards do it, I don't care.
Well done, Paul Higgins. Let me move on. Congratulations. Gary Mason, a great team performance.
Oh, it's great. The whole team fought hard from the word go, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Meath played in the final whistle, and it's up to everybody to put everything into the last minute, really.
I thought when you were so far ahead that you were going to walk it, but you have to give tremendous credit to Meath. They really fought back.
Well, that's what I say. You can't write Meath up to the last minute, and they came strong there halfway through the second half, and we took a lap for a while. But when Mickey Linden got a few scores on the board, everything came together at the final whistle.
Wild celebrations and Down for the rest of the week.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's only start.
Okay, back to you, Michael.
All-Ireland football final, a final that brought to a close what has been described as one of the most extraordinary years in the history of Gaelic football. Well, Meath, all on their own, have helped to make it extraordinary, involved in an unprecedented 9 championship games on their way to the final, including 4 draws. They've had their little bit of luck along the way, but really it has been their fighting spirit that has marked them down as one of the great teams of Gaelic football. Well, sadly for them, their long road did not lead to success. And so it's to the Burlington Hotel here in South County Dublin that we come tonight to celebrate with Down, the All-Ireland champions, once again. They've been in 4 finals, they've won the 4 of them. Mind you, the last time was 23 years ago, so what a reception Paddy O'Rourke, the team captain, and his team got when they proudly paraded the Sam Maguire Cup into their victory banquet a little bit earlier on. Well, a little bit later on, we'll be joining them in there. We'll also, of course, be naming our Telecom Éireann Man of the Match award winner. But for the moment, well, let's recap on this afternoon's final as we take you back to Croke Park with commentators Jack O'Shea and Ger Canning.
Meath showed all the tremendous character and resilience that they were renowned for. We were leading by 10 or 11 points at one stage, and I knew myself on the sideline that we were still going to have our backs put to the wall at some stage. And Meath, credit to them, and I'm not being patronising when I say this, but they came at us like 3 champions. They never gave up. And certainly I think today we beat the best. We didn't win this All-Ireland through the back door. Today we had to beat the best, and we did beat the best.
We're 10 points up. I felt then we had it won. Meath come back very, very strong, as they always do. And then Barry Breen went through and scored a brilliant point to put us back again. It was a great score, and I felt then we had it won. I started to think about my speech.
Just when you were put under pressure, actually, you were always able to respond to Meath's scores.
Yes, any good team like Meath is going to come at you. But I felt comfortable enough. I didn't feel that they were going to come in there and get enough scores for the beat us. I didn't see no way back for them out today.
It's unbelievable, Marty. I've worked so hard, long and hard over the years for this. There's very good times, but there's also a hell of a lot of bad times. And, you know, at this point in time, my heart would go out to the fellas who have given service over the years in other counties and never got their recognition. And I'm just very, very fortunate today to get success like this.
Colm, obviously heartbroken and very disappointed.
Yes, after a hard year, it would have been nice to cap it with a win, but you know, we were outplayed for a long time. We have no complaints. I think Down are worthy champions.
Certainly, to miss out at the start, at the starting lineup, must have been devastating for you personally.
Yeah, it was tough not to be able to play. Very tough.
The game lasts for 70 minutes. You do the very best you can when you're out there. On the day, we weren't good enough, and what can you say? Of course you're disappointed. To be knocked out of the championship at any stage is bad enough. Beating in your second All-Ireland final in a row, that's not easy either. The one thing I was happy about was that the lads, they showed tremendous courage, a lot of football ability. A lesser team might have wilted against the pressure that they put on. But let's not take them down. It was their day, is their day. They're the champions. They've earned the right. They won it on the field, and more power to them and every good luck to them.
Self-belief is vital. I told the players a fortnight ago that this match would be won or lost in their minds before a ball was ever kicked. They had to prepare mentally for it. They had to be quite sure in their own hearts that they were capable of winning this game. And if they had got that ingrained into their hearts, then given the ability, given the work they had done, we knew we were coming with a 50-50 chance, and thankfully it worked out well for us in the end.
The views of the players there after this afternoon's match, but of course we'll be hearing, well, a little bit more from the downside of it as we join them at their victory banquet here in the Burlington Hotel a little bit later on. Don't forget our Telecom Era Man of the Match coming up as well. But for the moment, let's take a look at the statistics from today's game. And after a scrappy first half, both teams settled down to give us a really fine game of football in the second period. Analyst Jack O'Shea have to say about it. Well, after the match, he spoke to Ger Canning.
Jack, were you surprised at all at how well Down applied themselves this afternoon?
I was very surprised, Joe, because coming out onto the field I was surprised to see the Down players leave the dressing room, and they were actually waving to the crowds and trying to get the crowds behind them. And overall I thought they came onto the field and they didn't show any nerves. They came at Meath right from the start, and today I think they did themselves a lot of credit. But having said that, you know, they came out onto the field like a team that had been there several times before.
They seem to have great inner self-belief, because once the time they took the lead after 20 minutes, they never relinquished that lead.
Yeah, you know, as the game went on, Down seemed to be getting better and better. Their play was improving. They were picking the ball up in defence, and they were creating very good scoring chances, and they were taking some very good scores. And the level of confidence seemed to rise in the team right from let's say after about 10 minutes. They were getting better and better, and as the game went on, I think they proved that in the end.
Their forwards, Jack, seemed to look sharp. They took many of their chances.
Yeah, their forwards in the first half, their full forward line were creating a lot of problems. James McCartan, Mickey Lennon when he was on the ball. Whitnell wasn't that dangerous in the start. I thought Mick Lyons playing very well early on in the first half. But I think the Down half forward line weren't coming forward enough or quick enough to support the full forward line. But having said that, I think Greg Blaney really came into his own in the second half, and he laid up a lot of the scores and showed a lot of his experience and helped out the other forwards as well.
Now, Greg Blaney was involved in the build-up to that Down goal after 9 minutes of the second half. A suggestion perhaps that Barry Breen was inside the small square when he actually touched it in?
Yeah, Greg Blaney again took the ball, I think, in from the left-hand side and passed it into Mickey Lennon, who got the ball and who was in a very awkward situation and a very narrow angle. So he flicked the ball across the square, and while it was in the air, I thought Barry Breen kind of went from being outside the square into the square, but I thought it wasn't a square ball. I didn't think it was a square ball. I didn't think he was in there before the ball came in.
Paradoxically, that seemed to rouse Meath, because although there were 11 points in arrears, they came back and scored a splendid goal.
Yeah, you know, we've seen this Meath team all the year and they've shown some tremendous character throughout the year. Again, they look dead after half-time today. 10 points down, 20 minutes to go. It looked out and out for them. But they got a great goal. Tommy Dowd was fouled, I think, and he took a very quick free, a very good free actually, right into Liam Hayes, full belt on the run. And there's no better player in the country to put the ball away than Liam Hayes in that situation. And he took his goal very well and roused the Meath team again.
There were a few more chances as well. One in particular I'm thinking about, Bernard Flynn's point-blank shot, expertly saved by Neil Collins.
Yeah, Bernard Flynn had a great chance. I thought Bernard did everything right in the situation. I think he sidestepped DJ Kane first, took the ball onto his left foot, a great shot, and it was a great save, a tremendous save at that time of the match, and Down got away with the clearance at that stage.
By now, Colm O'Rourke was part of the action, having been out of it because of a virus he'd picked up. Do you think the Meath selectors erred in any way by not bringing him on much earlier?
Well, I suppose most people would say that if he was fit to come on in the second half, that he was probably fit to start the game. I was in the same situation in 1986. I had the flu all the week before the match. But I think that once you get to the ground and once the adrenaline starts flowing, you forget about your virus and that. And maybe I think they might have erred that had them on a bit before half-time, because Meath was struggling all the way through. Even though Johnny McEntee was winning a lot of very good ball around the middle of the field, their delivery into the Meath forward line seemed to change, their pattern of play seemed to change. And until Colm O'Rourke came on, Meath didn't start playing the ball more direct. And when Colm came in, they started pumping the ball into the Meath full forward line, and we saw the amount of scores they picked off in the second half.
Alan Brown driving it down towards Brian Stafford, gathered by Colm O'Rourke. Matthew McCabe is free wide on the left-hand side all this while, but he hits it inside instead to Bernard Flynn. Flynn trying to dodge round defenders. An assured kick, and he's put it over. But it was Pete McGrath's day, Down's day. What do you think this will now do for Ulster football?
Well, I think a lot of credit must go to Peter McGrath, because I think a year or two ago they were finding it very difficult to get someone to train the team, and I think early on this year they were finding a lot of difficulty getting the players together, but he must get tremendous credit for the amount of work he's done, and I think it's going to boost football in general, and of course it's a great injection to Down football, and it might be the incentive that the other teams up there need, and the confidence that they can come down and win the All-Ireland. And I think it was a great day for football in general, and a great day to be here, and I'm delighted to see Down win the All-Ireland as well.
Pleased indeed, and of course we'll be hearing from Jack O'Shea a little bit later on, again inside in the banqueting hall, when he announces his Telecom Éireann Man of the Match award winner. However, for the moment, let's recap on today's minor final. Now, that was a contest between Cork and Mayo, and our commentators on that one were their friends and guests are being wined and dined in a manner that of course befits champions. Must be said at this stage that well, the Burlington Hotel has really picked the winners this year. Just a fortnight ago, of course, you'll remember we were here for the victory celebrations with the Tipperary hurling team. Well, you know, it's been a long, long day for the Down players, but I'm delighted to say there's a bit of talk left in a few of them yet, as Ger Canning is about to find out.
You're absolutely right, Michael. Paddy O'Rourke beside me said, will you, for goodness sake, be quick? We're just about to go into the roast beef. Paddy, it was a great day for Down football.
It's been an excellent day. I am absolutely delighted. I'm only now begin to believe that we really have won it, and I probably won't believe it properly until tomorrow when we go back across the border and go through the Army checkpoint and see all the Down fans.
Well, you deserve to get some welcome after that performance. Were you beginning to worry when Meath were coming ever so close?
I never really worried that much. You know, I always felt we had enough in reserve. I felt we were going to win it. I felt before the match we were going to win it, and I didn't change that the whole way through. Okay, Meath have made some, you know, brilliant comebacks, and you do get a bit anxious, but I always felt we were going to get the scores to win the game.
It's some Down team. There's great character in the team. You prepared well.
Yes, they prepared very well, and credit must go to all the boys. They've put in a lot of hard work, and we've been doing probably 5 out of 7 nights training, and it's been a big commitment, but when you get your medal at the end of it, it makes it all worthwhile.
Hard to believe that you're one county that has never lost an All-Ireland final.
Well, that's a good record to have, and that put a wee bit of pressure on us coming in today, because we'd heard that at home for this past 4 weeks. But the players live with that, and hopefully we can continue to win All-Ireland titles.
Trying to retain it, of course, in Ulster next year will be rather difficult, because, as you know very well, since the mid-70s, no county has managed to retain the Ulster title.
Yes, that's very much in our minds. We're not going to worry about it tonight, Ming, or for the rest of the week, but I'm sure people sitting back in Armagh are saying we're going to get them boys in the athletic grounds.
Well done to Paddy O'Rourke.
Okay, thank you.
Well done. Congratulations to you. Okay, next I'd like you to meet Greg Blaney. Greg, congratulations to you. They say that marriage has improved your game considerably.
It's a matter of opinion. Well, I did get married this year, and I suppose it hasn't done me any harm. But we didn't win much the last 10 years, and this year I got married in July and won the Ulster title and won the All-Ireland today. So I'm absolutely delighted.
Of course, you've been ever on the go with hurling as well.
Yes, well, this last few years I've been involved at county level, both football and hurling, and it can make for a long year, but when you achieve success like we achieved today, it's all worth it.
What ran through your mind when you ran out in the field today and you got that marvellous welcome?
Well, what ran through my mind was that I suppose if you can't play football on an occasion like today, on a pitch like today, you can't play football anywhere. And we were uptight and nervous. Okay, we were very determined to go out and play football and play to the best of our ability.
You had a terrific game, involved in most of the down attacks. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I enjoyed it a lot. I was a wee bit slow settling. It was about 10 or 15 minutes before I got my hands on the ball, but as the game went on, I got into it better and things ran relatively well for me.
They certainly did. Well done to Greg Blaney. Well done, Greg. Right, Pete McGrath. Well, what can we say, Pete? You took over the team. They say nobody else wanted the job. You've achieved what you set out to achieve.
Yes, they're actually looking for a very young manager when they actually advertised the post. No one else knew that. And
well, they got a young fella.
They did indeed, and maybe not so young now, but there were problems at the time. But I had looked after minor teams for a number of years, and I was keenly aware of the ability within the county. And I was lucky enough to get two extremely sound men as my assistants, John Murphy and Barney Traynor. And two other very reliable men, Martin Fitzsimons and Gabriel Truman. And backing the whole lot up, I've got a personal assistant at home, my mother, who at this point in time must be sick and tired of looking at the telephone because she's been on it more often than I have. So I had a very, very good backup team, and thank God everything has gone well.
Well done. It is suggested, there is just the hint of a rumour that at one stage before the Armagh match you were thinking that, well, it might be resignation time very shortly.
I think that is a little bit like the rumour of Mark Twain's death. It was grossly over-exaggerated. Our attitude this year was to take each game on its merits. And I think at the end of the day, the panel of players this year decided that they had been fooling around for long enough, and it was time to go down to some serious work, and it was time that they showed the rest of the province and the rest of the country that they could play football, and that is what they did.
Terrific. Well done, Pete. Congratulations. Liam Austin. Hi, Liam. Well, Liam, you've been on the go for a fair few years at this stage, one of the senior men of this team. Did you ever believe this day would come about?
To be quite honest with you, I didn't. We've had some very, very good days, but we had a lot of bad ones. And I must admit, you know, the clock, Father Time was running out on me. And I'm just so thrilled. And for the older members of the team, like Ambrose and myself, it's a great, great day.
You know, trying to live up to the great teams of the 60s, that can't have been easy.
No, and hopefully today we've made our own little bit of history, and you know, we'll work from there. The 60s was a time that was very, very successful for County Down, and hopefully the 90s will be as much successful.
You're going to enjoy your success, but I'm sure you must have a feeling about Meath as well, having lost at the end of 10 games.
I have, and I've also a very personal feelings about Meath, because there's some very great sportsmen among them, and Jerry McEntee and Colin O'Rourke and those boys, you know, they've been around a lot, and I thought today that they showed true sportsmanship, and it's a credit to them.
Liam Austin and Down, well done to you all. There we go. Michael. Let's go back to Michael, and we'll have the man of the match for you shortly.
Yes, well, it'll give you an idea of the size of a man that Liam Austin is, that Ger Canning himself is no small man. Well, now, there is one other mystery out of this year's Football and Hurling Championship still to be resolved. 2 weeks ago, here in the Burlington Hotel, Pat Fox stepped up to receive the Telecom Éireann Man of the Match award. Who will it be from this year's football final? Well, I'm sure that you have your own ideas at home, but one man who knows for definite is Jack O'Shea, and he's with Ger Canning now.
Yes, indeed. Jack is going to nominate our man of the match very shortly, but I would like to welcome Jim Joyce, Executive Director of Telecom Éireann, who will make the presentation. Jim, you're very welcome indeed. Now, Jack, I should tell everybody here that since 6 o'clock, Jack has been saying to me, you know, Ger, Kerry weren't bad after all. You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I enjoyed the game, John. I think tonight we're all talking about Down, but I think we must give a bit of credit to Meath. I think Meath today showed us the tremendous team that they were all year, and I don't think there's any other team in the country would have come back from where they were today, and I would like to give them credit as well tonight.
Okay, Jack, the big moment has arrived. You nominate your Telecom Éireann Man of the Match for the All-Ireland football final.
Yeah, it was a difficult enough decision. I thought Jerry McEntee for Meath had a great game throughout the game. I thought Greg Blaney for Down, Eamon Burns for Down had a great game. But there's one man who was never in time, because I shared the room with him for a month in Australia last year, and he was never in time. That's James McCarthy.
Well done, James, well done. Now, Jim Joyce to make the presentation to James McCartan. Jim.
Well, I'm sure James would agree that there were many men of the match on the field today. We saw two great teams who were a credit to Gaelic football, and it's a very great pleasure for Telecom Éireann to be associated with this award.
There's a watch as well, James. You'll never be late again. James, Jack was saying during the commentary today, he's seen everything now. He saw you kick a point with the wrong foot.
Once I knew that point went over the bar, I knew there was only one way for us today, and that was to win.
How do you feel?
Oh, overwhelmed at the minute. It hasn't really sunk in, like Paddy says, but we've all year to let it sink in, and we intend to enjoy ourselves, and it'll be great going home tomorrow evening.
Somebody else who's here to share your big moment now is your dad. Let's have a word with him. Hi, James. This is some young fella you've reared.
Oh yes, he's well fed.
You're obviously very, very pleased.
Oh, we're delighted that Sam will come back over the border again. It's a great thrill for Down, and it's a great honour to Ulster too.
You were made, James, outsiders going into this by the bookies and the experts. I have to confess, I myself thought that Meath might win it, but you confounded us all.
Well, that's understandable. Meath have proved over the last few years what a great side they are, and I think again today they proved what a great side they are. Any other team who would be 11 points down with 20-odd minutes left, I think would have packed their bags and went. But Meath knuckled down and showed what true champions they are, and I think it's more credit to the Down team that we managed to beat such a great side.
What's the future now for this Down team, do you think?
Well, most of us are very young, apart from Liam and Ambrose and these boys, but you'll not thank me for that, but anyway. Well, I suppose the secret is to try and stick together, as Meath have showed over the last few years, and we're hoping that this isn't one-off and we'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Telecom Éireann Man of the Match for the football final, James McCartan.
Yes, well, I have cameramen, photographers, all sides of me here, in front of me, behind me, getting pictures of our Telecom Éireann Man of the Match winner from this year's football final, James McCartan. Now, Jack O'Shea mentioned that he had shared a room with James in Australia on the compromise rules trips. The connection between that and him winning the Man of the Match, well, I leave that for yourself to decide. Well, the 1991 season, what a season it's been. It's been, of course, the year of the draw. It's been the year of sponsorship, the year of the open draw in 2 provinces. But it's also been the year that thousands and thousands of people flocked to see our Gaelic games, football and hurling, played to the highest standards. So for the next few minutes, let us take you back and remember some of the finer moments from this year's championships. And with that, we bring down the curtain on the Sunday Game series for 1991, because this is, of course, our final programme. And we sincerely hope that you have enjoyed the action all through the summer just as much as we have surely enjoyed bringing it to you. It has been a truly remarkable year, one of the best, I think, in living memory in Gaelic games. It's been a year epitomised perhaps by no county better than Meath. They've had a championship almost all to themselves, and they've really kept us entertained all through the summer. But really, in the final analysis, well, the congratulations, of course, has to go to the men behind me here, the men from Down. You know, they weren't given too much of a chance going into today's final, but at the end of the day, they proved one thing. What really matters in the end is what happens out there on the pitch. To Down, we say congratulations. To you, we say, well, thank you for watching in 91. Good night to you.
Runs on towards Whitnell.